Everything you told us is a lie. You're looking me in the eyes, you're looking at everything you told us is a lie. Every single thing. And you can't keep sitting here and telling us the same thing and getting constantly over and over and over again, we're disproving everything that you're telling us. You're telling us that you've lied to us. You're telling us you're giving us misinformation. Everything you're telling us. Okay? This needs to end.
The truthful thing is that I have not seen my daughter. The last time that I saw her was on the 9th of June.
And what happened to Caylee?
I don't know.
Sure you do.
I don't know.
Something happened to Caylee. We're not going to discuss whether the last time you saw her. I'm guessing something bad happened to her some time ago and you haven't seen her. So that part is true if you say you haven't seen her because she's somewhere else right now.
She's with someone else. I'm sorry I've given you guys the runaround.
We're not trying to be big scary guys. We're just trying we're just trying to make sure we get accurate information so we have something to work off of.
I understand that. I just wish I honestly had more things to help with. The biggest mistake was not calling you guys right off the bat. I understand all of that. It's the biggest slap in the face, and I did that to myself. But the worst what I've done was to my daughter by allowing her to still be with someone else.
Even now, still lying. She tells cops the last time she saw her daughter was the 9th. We all know it was the 16th, at least, if not later, the day after Father's Day back in June. We are taking your calls live out to Cheryl in Nevada. Hi, Cheryl.
Hi, Nancy. I have a quick question. I wanted to know, are the police still physically looking for this little girl in Florida?
Excellent question. Out to Natisha Lance standing by at the jail. What's the slowdown in the searches? When is it going to resume?
Well, Nancy, one of the things that slowed down the search has been the water levels, and they're saying that the area does not look the same as when Casey would have presumably went missing. So it's making it difficult for them to search right now, and they were a little bit afraid of going over these areas and if her body is out there, possibly messing up any type of evidence and possibly pushing her body down into the mud a little bit more. But they are still taking in those tips as they come in, and if there are any credible leads, they are following up on them.
Drew Petrimo with WDBO, that really doesn't make sense. They're not searching because it doesn't look the same because of the water level?
Well, you know, the other thing is that they've basically said that based on the evidence that they found that, you know, they think she is dead. So, you know, as to where she could be anywhere. They've already looked through a lot of the wooded areas that are by her house where, you know, those cell phone records pinged off of. We also had the people from Texas, the EquiSearch. You know, they were out there for days searching through the area. There's a lot of wooded area around Central Florida here, and for them to just blindly search is, I would say, would seem kind of pointless at this time unless they had some hard evidence as to where they thought they were. And as we know, Casey's not saying anything as to that.
Yes, a blind search would be fruitless. Back to bounty hunter Leonard Padilla. Leonard, I told you that I believe the Anthonys were getting tips, and you said no, they're not.
I don't think they're getting any tips. If they were, they would be forwarding them to law enforcement immediately. When I talked to them when I was originally there was a couple of tips that we ourselves followed up, and law enforcement had followed them up and proved to be fruitless.
So what's all this about Mexico and Puerto Rico and Texas?
The thing about it is that it's wishing beyond reality by Cindy. It's a distraction right now to law enforcement. George and Cindy know the truth. Lee has no doubt told Cindy the truth that has been relayed to him by Casey. So it's a total distraction. They've lost a granddaughter. Now their hope against hope.
Why are you so convinced they know the truth?
Their attitude took a complete change after the University of Tennessee and the DNA results came out. Their whole attitude changed and went into a defensive posture for Casey. Prior to that, it had been a situation where they were willing to see if Casey would talk to somebody, do something. After that, it became totally defensive on behalf of Casey. There's other things. Let me explain something to you. There's also an individual that on the evening of the 26th, Casey had several conversations with him. A fellow by the name of Mark Hawkins. It's a Marine stationed at 29 Palms. It would be very interesting for him to talk to somebody about those conversations he had with Casey the night before her car was found at 7 a.m. at that check cashing place.
You know what? You're right, and we have no reason to believe cops haven't spoken to him, do you?
I don't know if they have or if they haven't, but it'd be very interesting to see what a Marine would have to say, because if there's anybody that she trusted to tell the truth to about what happened to her daughter, it would be Mark Hawkins.
I don't see her telling anybody. To Chris in Florida. Hi, Chris.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, dear. What's your question?
Caylee was supposedly supposed to have been a kidnapped child. Why wasn't the FBI ever brought in? And if so, with all their resources, couldn't they cut through all this baloney?
To Drew Petrimo, it's my understanding the FBI has been brought in.
That's right. From the very beginning, the FBI and FDLE were involved in this case. So, you know, we would assume that the vast and expansive resources of the FBI have been available since the beginning.
Take a listen to more of the interrogation of Mom Casey Anthony. These audio tapes just released today.
So wait a minute. So you're more afraid of your mom's reaction than you are if you ever see your daughter again?
You know, I'm absolutely petrified. Absolutely petrified. I know my mom will never forgive me. I'm never going to forgive myself, because there's that chance that I might not see Caylee again, and I don't want to think about that.
So what did you do?
Honestly, I wanted to come up and try to talk to security. Maybe pass around a picture of Caylee. I legitimately have not seen my daughter in 5 weeks. I didn't let anything happen to her, except I trusted her with somebody. Somebody that had been taking care of her, that had been taking good care of her. Someone that she was comfortable with, that I was comfortable with.
What about Jeff? You said Jeff worked here until about 2 months ago?
No, he hasn't worked here for quite a while.
10 months? How long?
It's been at least 10 months.
If the main thing you want to do is find your daughter, and you don't think lying to us is going to help us find her, why would you do that?
Because I'm scared, and I know I'm running out of options. It's been a month.
That doesn't even make any sense, Dr. Boeski. Why are you lying to us? Because I'm scared? She should be scared and go to police to find her daughter.
Absolutely. The only time we heard any emotion out of her voice was when she was talking about her mom. And I think with her mom, she's just afraid that her mom's finally going to be done with her. Her mom knows all the bad things she's done, and she supported her all this time. I think she's worried that her mom is going to leave her and she will be alone. She is right about what she said, though. She is running out of options.
To Shelley in Canada. Hi, Shelley.
Hi, Nancy. How are you this evening?
I'm good, dear. What's your question?
My question is, I don't understand how she has so much free time to be, you know, going to her lawyer's office, hanging out for hours, and why isn't she in the police station still being interrogated?
You know, to Drew Petrimo, not only being interrogated, well, once you have a lawyer and invoke your Miranda rights, they cannot question you anymore, but is she doing anything to help find her daughter, Drew?
We really don't know what exactly she's doing. I mean, she comes out of her house, she goes into her lawyer's house, she comes back, gets right in the car, and, you know, she's swept away and right back into her house at home. So, you know, besides for what we see for those brief seconds, we have no idea what she's doing.
Everyone, let's stop and remember Army Major Mark Rosenberg, 32, Miami Lakes, Florida, killed Iraq on a second tour, a graduate of Florida International University and New Mexico Military Institute. Remembered for an infectious laugh, loved scuba, playing Wii, dancing, spending time with his big sister Lori, the two so close they had their weddings 1 day apart. Leaves behind grieving parents Burton and Sheila, brother Neil, widow Julie, toddler boys Maxwell and Joshua. Mark Rosenberg, American hero. Thanks to our guests, but mostly to you for being with us. And tonight, a special good night for a New York friend of the show, talented graphics artist Shannon Vavrinchik. And special happy birthday to our show's star, the executive producer, Dean Sikora.